Chapter 89. The Essential Strategies of the Heavenly Kingdom. Yao Zhengshen's description was like opening a door for Gu Hai. Listening to it, Gu Hai kept his brows slightly furrowed. By the way, Mr. Gu, speaking of which, I also have a piece of booklet for founding a nation here, which I accidentally obtained from my trip to the Divine Land in the past, Yao Zhengshen said with a flickering expression. Oh, Gu Hai said doubtfully. Yao Zhengshen flipped his hand and took out a silk scroll with 4 big words Essentials of Heavenly Dynasty written on it. This volume of the essential strategies of the Heavenly Dynasty should not be something hidden. If Mergu traveled to the divine continent Earth, he should be able to obtain it as well. Yao Zhengshen handed it out. Gu Hai took it and gently opened it. On top of the silk, countless words were densely written, but, at the moment, it was as if it was immortal sounding and wonderful text. And looking at it, Gu Hai suddenly had a feeling of intoxication. Mr. Gu, this volume of Essentials of Heavenly Dynasties, let's gift it to you. I hope it will be useful to you, sir. Yao Zhengshen laughed. With a solemn expression, Gu Hai put away the Essentials of the Heavenly Dynasty and made a slight bow to Yao Zhengshen. Thank you, Mr. Yao. This Heavenly Dynasty essential strategy has allowed me to take countless fewer detours. As long as it is useful to you, sir. I have just had a breakthrough. I need to find a place to close up and stabilize. So I will take my leave first. Soon, I will send a siren to station here. If there is any situation, you can notify me with it at any time, Yao Zhengshen solemnly said. Good. I'll see Mer Yao off. Gu Hai smiled. A group of people slowly sent Yao Zhengshen out of the ancient mansion. Mr. Gu, farewell. Yao Zhengshen gave a slight salute, stepped into the sky, and flew into the sky in the twinkling of an eye. Watching Yao Zhengshen leave, Gu Hai was also in an extremely relaxed mood at the moment. Righteous Father, this Yao is really interesting. These 1,000 heads, what should we do with them? Gu Qin laughed. Mr. Yao, it's the timely to come, Gu Hai exclaimed. As for these heads, bury them. Gu Hai shook his head and said. Yes, Gu Qin nodded. After giving an explanation, Gu Hai returned to the Heavenly Punching Tower and carefully studied the essential strategies of the Heavenly Dynasty. The Essentials of the Heavenly Dynasty was not a gong method, but an article that guided how to establish a luck dynasty. Although there was still a lot that hadn't been documented in the establishment of the luck dynasty. However, having this general framework was already enough for Gu Hai. What happens later, slowly feel it out later. The Emperor, the 9 and 5. Under the sky is not the king's land. The rate of the land is not the king's minister. Gu Hai readers of the Heavenly Dynasty were to be in the midst of slight contemplation. At this moment, Gu Hai became clearer and clearer about the establishment of the country. After founding the country, rescuing refugees is accumulating virtue. To stabilize the world and make people's lives happy is to accumulate virtue. Defending against foreign enemies and destroying invading enemies is a virtue. To open up the borders and seize the fortune of other countries is a virtue. As long as the country is established, there are ways to increase the number of qi. Human beings are the foundation, and the territory is the foundation. As the number of qi increased day by day, it connected to the qi fortune, and the country's fortune flourished. No wonder those sects want to keep the people captive, but unfortunately, the few sects on the 9-5 island are a bit too unorthodox, only creating a disaster when they need merit, and then helping the people to resolve it and gain merit and qi. The immortals that people worship in their mounts, sometimes, they don't resolve their disasters as they think, Gu Hai pondered slightly. While studying the key strategies of the Heavenly Dynasty, he commanded his subordinates in the 4 directions to take over the boundaries of the 4 kingdoms. Another month later, Righteous Father, although my ancient mansion has harnessed a large number of talents, but to govern this vast territory, There are still not enough talents. Gukin smiled bitterly. Prepare to open the imperial examinations to absorb useful talents, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Yes. By the way, righteous father, news came from the shopkeepers all over the place that with such relief for the disaster victims, the food supply might be a bit insufficient, and it can only support for a month at most. Gukin worriedly said. Food, the white cloud flying boat, isn't it also in your possession? Gu Hai looked towards Gukin. Yes. Bring a large amount of gold and run to the other mortal regions of the 9-5 islands to buy food there. Since you're going to do it, do everything right, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Yes, Gukin solemnly said. Just leave this matter to Shangwan Scar. In addition, you send someone with Shangwan Scar to the other 5 mortal inhabited regions to find the kings of the countries and carry out the matter of recruiting and surrendering, Gu Hai commanded. Yes, Gukin answered. How is the construction of the palace going? Gu Hai asked again. Craftsmen have been recruited to work on it day and night. It's just that, righteous father. This time, this palace that you are going to build, will it be too big? It encompasses the entire Tiger Prison Pass, Gukin said with a somewhat complicated look. Within the Tiger Firmament Pass that is a vast territory, a quarter of the former Cheng Kingdom's country This is not to build a super-imperial city, but to build an imperial palace, also known as the Ancient Mansion. This is also too big. It is mentioned in the essential strategies of the Celestial Dynasty that in Imperial China, an imperial city is as big as the 9 and 5 islands. This is just a small piece of land. Is it big? Gu Hai laughed. Yes. Gukin nodded blankly. How big the heart is, how big the world is. It's true that our heritage is very shallow, but we can slowly accumulate it. I firmly believe that one day we will reach that height as well, and we must reach it, otherwise your righteous mother's revenge can never be avenged. And that enemy, too, has a great power. Gu Hai gritted his teeth and said in a deep voice. Yes. Gukin nodded with a solemn expression. Go and call Shangwan Scar to meet me. There are some things I need to explain to him, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Yes, Gukin answered and retreated. Recruiting Shangwan Scar, Gu Hai quickly arranged matters. Here in the 4 directions of the border, the world is in a great drought. There is a shortage of food. Gu Hai needs to quickly find a large amount of food, not only to gain the gratitude of the victims, but also to gain merit and chi. There is another more important thing, but it is to stabilize the people's mind. Under such a natural disaster, Gu Hai made every effort to save the world. This is also considered to be the people's heart. Although the extermination of many countries, but the people's heart, the people's heart misses Gu Hai, naturally, will not listen to some ulterior motives to rebel against Gu Hai's regime. Another month later, Gu Hai's study. Gukin, a group of old shopkeepers. Gukin stood in front of Gu Hai's desk on both sides. Congratulations, master. Gao Xianzi's army broke through Zhao's imperial city. Zhao is completely destroyed, an old shopkeeper said excitedly. Gao Xianzi has a group of innates. The peony sect didn't intervene in Zhao's affairs at all. It would be strange if they couldn't take Zhao by now, Gu Hai said indifferently. Yes, the old shopkeeper nodded as he suppressed the excitement in his heart. The country of Zhao is also suffering from a great drought. Gukin, notify Boss Zhao to immediately arrange for relief for the victims and smooth out the disaster year, Gu Hai commanded. Yes, Gukin answered. The people are already suffering from the military and natural disasters. Instruct Gao Xianzi to rectify the military discipline. If there are those who take advantage of the chaos to disturb the people, the military law will be strict, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Yes. Tell Shangwan Scar to intensify the transport of grain to Zhao in case there is a shortage of food, Gu Hai commanded. Yes. Tell Scar to do his best to protect the new dignitaries of the four directions, so that nothing happens during the time of great chaos. I don't want the assassination incident in the Golden Kingdom's Beyondjin City to happen again, Gu Hai said in a deep voice. Yes, Gu Hai was in the midst of issuing one order after another. However, it was Chen Chongshun who called out from outside the study at this moment, "My lord, come in." Gu Hai was puzzled. Wasn't Chen Chongshun recruiting cultivators at the moment? Why did he come running? Chen Chongshun immediately entered the study, and when he saw Gu Hai, he said with a solemn expression, "My lord, the Hall Master is here." Hall Master, Long Wanqing. Gu Hai revealed a trace of doubt. Yes, and the Hall Master's mood seems. Chen Chongshun's face looked odd for a while. Gu Hai's expression was solemn. "All right, the meeting will end here. You guys go and get busy," Gu Hai said in a deep voice. "Yes," the shopkeepers answered and quickly withdrew from the study. And Gu Kan followed suit. Only Gu Hai and Chen Chongshun remained. "What's wrong with Hall Master?" Gu Hai got up and said suspiciously. "The Hall Master looks quite distressed. I can't say. Your Excellency, go and see for yourself," Chen Chongshun said bitterly. "Where is Master Liu Nian?" Gu Hai said suspiciously. "There is no Master Liu Nian. Only the Hall Master is alone. It seems like he has suffered a lot," Chen Chongshun explained. "Lead the way." Chen Chongshun led Gu Hai to quickly step out of the study and walked towards a hall in the distance. At the entrance of the hall, Long Wanqing's 3 servants were standing respectfully outside the door at the moment. In the past, when they were healing in the ancient mansion and borrowed the white clouds flying boats to give to Gu Kins, the 3 of them had been healing for a couple of months, and their injuries had healed a lot. Seeing Gu Hai come, they all respectfully said, "Gu Helmsman, Hall Master is inside." Gu Hai nodded and stepped into the middle of the hall. Chen Chongshun and 3 servants were waiting outside the hall. Gu Hai stepped into the hall and immediately saw Long Wanqing. Only at this moment, Long Wanqing was in quite a sorry state. Her hair was spread out, dusty. There was some black dust on her face, and her clothes were somewhat torn, but at this moment, as if she didn't care about her image at all, she was grasping a teacup, and her face was showing a look of anxiety. When Gu Hai stepped into the hall, Long Wanqing suddenly raised her head. The moment she saw Gu Hai, Long Wanqing's eyes suddenly turned red. "Gu Hai, finally found you," Long Wanqing cried and jumped up. With one hand, she grabbed Gu Hai's sleeve, if she was afraid that Gu Hai would run away. "Hall Master, what's wrong with you? Where is Master Liu Nian?" Gu Hai was surprised. Long Wanqing's crying expression looked exceptionally pitiful as she grabbed Gu Hai's arm and wouldn't let go, as if she was grabbing a life-saving straw. "Gu Hai, you save the masters. You save them. Ooh, they're all going to die. They've all turned into stone. They've all turned into stone," Long Wanqing cried. "What? Turning into stone?" Gu Hai revealed a trace of doubt. "Not stone, turned into go stone. I almost turned into stone as well. Grandmaster saved me in the end, pushed me out. Told me to come to you, said, only you can save him. Ooh, save Grandmaster Liu Nian. I was brought up by Grandmaster Liu Nian since I was a child. He's like my father. He's always been there for me and protected me. And now he's dying and turning into a go son. You saved the Grandmaster," Long Wanqing cried incoherently. "Turned into go." Gu Hai revealed a wave of bewilderment. People could still turn into go.